Hi everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here, and this is episode 8, unless I publish a video that I don't think I'm going to publish, of relationship advice. This one is on long distance relationships and what helps to make them work. So it's kind of something that's important in normal relationships. It's just applied differently because you're not physically together. It's maintaining communication and closeness. You should be connected with each other, understand what's going on in each other's lives, like have a feel for how your loved one's days are and stuff. I'm kind of thinking in terms of the long distance relationship, so I'll explain what I mean. So it seems to me that a lot of people who have long distance relationships and they do things like this. And also I want to throw in that it seems like most people's long distance relationships don't work out very well. And I think that has to do with the fact that they don't communicate every day and they don't have a good connection to the everyday life of the person they love. So, like me, my fiance lives in a different country, different time zone and everything. But I know what time she wakes up for school, university. She does wake up at different times on different days, so I can't always know exactly when because she doesn't always know herself very much ahead of time, and it's not the most important thing to be 100% on every day. Like if it was a constant schedule, yeah, when it used to be for her, and I knew exactly what time every day, but you get the point. So I know when she wakes up, when she goes to university. I know when she usually gets back from university. I know when she goes to sleep and all of that. And on top of that, we stay connected in a certain kind of way. I wake up, good evening. She responds, good morning, and then we start talking about things. Regardless of how busy we are, stuff. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not busy, she's not busy, but you're never too busy to say good morning or good evening. So that helps get the connection. You know, like before I was saying I don't know exactly when she wakes up, but I do end up knowing exactly when she wakes up because she messages me good evening when she wakes up. So then I know exactly when she is up. In the past, when it was a predictable schedule, I would actually message her exactly when she would wake up. That way her phone alarm would go off, she would go to turn off her alarm, and beep, message from Andrew, good morning, hearts maybe. So yeah, it's very important to have that connection. Like, it's just weird, like if you don't know when the person you love is going to sleep, when they're waking up. It doesn't make any sense to me. People ask me all the time, oh, so you still talk with Katya every day? Or are you still staying in touch with her? And it's like, yeah, we message each other every day, twice a day. And what I mean by twice a day is that there's the period of time at the beginning of my day, which is her night. Then she goes to sleep. I go about my day. Then there's the time where she wakes up. And then she starts going about her day, but then I go to sleep. And it's the same for her. So every day at the beginning parts of our day and at the ends of our day, we have overlapping waking hours and we can communicate. And we've already got to know basically everything about each other. But you still need to communicate every day. How are you doing? How are you feeling? If she's on her time of the month, is it hurting? How are you doing? If you knew she was sick or something, oh, you feeling better? I'm not saying to say this just to say it, but you should care to know about this stuff. If you lived with someone, are you gonna just like ignore how they are? I mean, some people do, but it's not a relationship. So you should feel very connected with each other. Of course, sometimes there's going to be days where you're just very busy and you don't message much, but there should never be even a single day where you don't at least say good morning, good night. Yeah, if I were not to respond for an entire day, my fiance would probably think something really bad happened. Same if she did not respond for a whole day. She actually didn't during the summer for a few days, but that was because her country turned off the internet. I was afraid for her. So what else? Face to face. So this is one thing we do struggle a little bit on because it requires dedication of a continuous amount of time. Like when you're texting and stuff, or we like to send a lot of these recorded video messages back and forth, or audio messages. You can send one, wait a minute, check your phone again, read, send one, wait 10 minutes. But when you do a live video chat, it does require that you have a solid amount of time for, it could be pretty short, but it could be longer. But regardless, it's probably going to take up more continuous time than sending messages or whatever. But the face-to-face is incredibly important because when you do not see each other face-to-face, even over video chat, you start to get unfamiliar with each other and desensitized. What I mean by that is you start to feel less like people. Of course you know it's the person you love and she knows you're the person she loves and you're communicating, but you start to just get this distance where you're like less real in a way to each other. And when that happens, you could be more prone to irritation or arguments or something. Someone has asked me, how do you have any arguments if you're not living together? You don't need to be together to argue about things. If you're always constantly talking about things, there can be things you disagree on, which can lead to little arguments. But when you see face-to-face live, and you look at each other in the face, you feel that connection. And your irritations or your anger or your whatever will probably just melt away. Because you see it's the person you love, and that's what matters, is that you love them, not whatever that little thing was you got hung up on. And it's easy to get hung up on things when you start to feel less and less familiar with each other. It's kind of like how people on the internet have these big old arguments that they would never have in person because they're dehumanized. The other thing is an obvious one. Be together in person as often as you can, for as long as you can, and spend the time as best as you can. So don't be stingy when you have the opportunity to be together. I mean, if you have all the money in the world, obviously you don't need to spend all the money in the world, but I myself do not have all the money in the world, but I make a conscious decision to spend every penny that I possibly can spend when we are together. I'm not gonna have us not enjoy anything just because I want to save more money for when I get home. I will gladly go hungry for a while when I come back home, rather than not eat a nice meal together. Now, of course, we could have other meals and it'd be just fine. Being together is always amazing, but have as good of time together as humanly possible, because you never get that time back. But can you imagine if you were together and you were wishing that, or you were hoping or wanting or whatever to go to Disneyland, and you're like, but I don't know how much Disneyland costs, but it's $100 or $200 or whatever. I don't think we should spend the money on that. Yes, it's important to be wise about your money, but if you only have a month together or couple weeks, yeah, people are gonna disagree with me, but make the most out of your time together. So a better example is when I'm in my fiance's country, we go around on buses. The normal buses, which are pretty long, are very slow, and for twice the price you can ride on a short bus, which is actually a van, which goes faster and doesn't stop everywhere. Now, a lot of the time we just go on the long bus because, again, just simply being together is amazing. So even if you're just sitting on a bus together, you can enjoy that time together. But sometimes it's like, do we want to spend 40 minutes on the long bus for $1, or do we want to spend 25 minutes on the short bus for $2? You've only got so much time together, so probably it's worth it to spend the extra $1. Yeah, make the most out of your time together. What else would be very important? Realize that when you do meet each other in person, that it can be a little bit weird for the first day or so. Surprisingly, for my fiance and I, the very first time we ever met in person, we became more familiar with each other faster than the subsequent times. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but yeah, for her at least, she just feels, I don't know exactly how she feels, but when we've come back together, there's like an element of being a stranger, because even if you see each other on the phone every day and you talk every day, it's different when you come in person. I mean, you even look different in person than in video and stuff. So yeah, give her a little bit of time to get adjusted and comfortable with you. Who knows, maybe one time you'll go back and that will never rekindle. Got a text message. So yeah, don't force things the second you're together again. If she is completely familiar with you the second you see each other again, then yeah, don't take it easy or anything. I'm very, like, the second I see her, there's no element of unfamiliarity. So what else? Always remember that your person, your girlfriend, fiance, wife, is a person with their own life. So maybe you just got off work and you have all the time in the world to text or video, to chat or whatever, but realize that she does have stuff that she has to do. She's got stuff going on and she can't spend all her time messaging you. But I am a big believer in spending a lot of time communicating. Another thing is never pass up an opportunity to be together in person unless it's an exceptional scenario. Like, say you could choose to be together for 2 weeks right now, or for the rest of your life 6 months from now. Obviously, you're going to go with the waiting extra 6 months. But if it's like, oh, we're only going to be able to be together 2 weeks and we could save the money to have a better time 6 months later, it's like, no, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. And even if you will for sure be together at that later time, it's not worth it. You want to be together in person. Your relationship will suffer if you spend too much time apart. Maybe it won't, but it has a higher chance of suffering. So I think I've touched on all the big things. It's just really staying connected while you're apart is the main thing. Oh yeah, perhaps not obvious to you, but so obvious I didn't even think to include it, is even though you're apart, it's not a free pass to go screw every other girl you want to. Be loyal. Hopefully you want her to be loyal to you, so be loyal to her. Yeah, treat it seriously. If you love somebody, just because you're apart doesn't mean you should do anything you wouldn't do if you were together. And if you're together, also be loyal to her. But definitely communicate when you're feeling the need to screw other girls, just so that that's part of the staying connected. You shouldn't hide anything from each other. You should definitely share everything. Because you don't know a person if you're hiding things from each other. And you think, oh, it's not that I'm hiding, it's just that I'm not saying it. Well, still, could you imagine if the person you loved was thinking of committing suicide and they didn't share it with you? No, you wouldn't like that. So just like if someone was really happy about something and they didn't share it with you, or they're really sad, you gotta stay connected with each other. Every single thing that happens in your life that you do not tell her about or she doesn't tell you about, that's one more thing adding to you knowing each other less. So say you have told each other about everything that there is to know about you, but then you don't talk for a while. Let's make it an extreme situation. You don't see each other for 5 years. You can live a lot of life and change a lot in 5 years, and when you come back together, if you had not been staying in constant communication, you will not really know each other. Yeah, sure, you'll still know each other, but you'll be different people and you won't know those new people. So while you're apart, make sure that every day as you change a little bit, your significant other gets to know that slightly different version of you. Or else you're going to get back together again and you're going to really be like strangers. I'm not saying you're going to be like strangers, but you're going to be less familiar with each other, and that's not good. So I just want to re-stress that part about being loyal to each other. I know it's a long video and this one isn't like as packed with crucial stuff as my other ones, because it's more just me thinking about things. And I mean, that's what I do in all my videos, but I just feel like this one's a little more less dense with great information. But I want to stress again the loyal part, because going through my long distance relationship, pretty much everybody encouraged me not to be loyal to my girlfriend and then later my fiance. I mean, we're supposed to be married by now, but yeah, we're not, just because we can't be at the moment. Yeah, most people don't seem to get that you can actually love somebody and have a relationship long distance. Hopefully if you're watching this video, you realize that because there's someone you love and you're trying to make it work. But yeah, it's not some make-believe relationship. It's not something that doesn't matter or count. And I don't know what people think, because, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. So treat it like you would a real relationship, if you want it to be a real relationship. If you want it to just be an internet make-believe thing, have it be your internet make-believe thing. But yeah, I personally care about having a real relationship, so I've always gone about it like a real relationship. I mean, if you don't like keep my video, just click on a different one, because I'm going to take my time and think about if there's anything else I should tell you. Oh, seems like it should be an obvious one, but work on being able to change it from a long distance relationship to a normal relationship as soon as possible. So don't just, like, I don't even know what to call it. Like, work on, you live here, she lives here. Work on this. Because if you just stay apart forever, either you're going to have some weird part-time relationship for the rest of your life, or more likely, you're going to find different people and never be together. And I also remember times where people were like, oh, you don't need to go this winter. She'll still be there. She's not going anywhere. And it's like, you know, people have a need to be with somebody. Eventually, if you're not supplying that need, even if they love you, they might have to find somebody else. So yeah, you love each other and everything, but let's be realistic. If you could not be with someone for 10 years, you really think you're not going to meet anybody in those 10 years who can give you company and love? Maybe you won't, but people do have a need to be with somebody else. And if you can't be with the person you truly love, I think it's likely that you're going to settle for somebody else. Who knows, maybe you'll find somebody else you love, I don't know. But do not underestimate the importance of making sure you spend time together at every opportunity that you can. I think that's pretty much it. Not my best video. Perhaps I will not label it episode 8, I'll just label it long distance relationship advice. If you can think of anything else you're wondering about, please leave a comment, because I'm I've said like too many times in this video, but it has to do with what I was about to say. I'm kind of tired and out of it right now. And long distance relationships aren't that complicated. I do not mean that they're not difficult. I mean, you just use some common sense going about them. Treat it like a real relationship. Stay connected with each other. Make sure you spend as much time in person as possible. When you're in person, make the most out of that time. Work on changing it from a long distance relationship to a normal relationship as soon as possible. Now, obviously, use some intelligence once again. And if it's like, oh, I have 1 year left at my university, or I can quit my university and move to you today, well, guess what? If you do that, chances are you're going to be unemployed or some shitty job, and you're not going to have a good life together. So do the 1 extra year. It's hard, but do it. Oh, another thing. Don't be afraid to move to her country, or for her to move to your... Whatever is the optimal thing, don't be afraid of the reverse. So I've taken classes in school where they complain, oh, Mexicans, they can't be together because their boyfriend or girlfriend in Mexico sometimes can't come to the US. What do you mean they can't be together? The person in the US can go to Mexico. So like my original plan, or you could say our original plan, was for me to go to her, but then shortly after it became her to come here, and that was the plan for a long time. But now it is once again for me to go to her country, even though My country, the United States of America, is the greatest country on the face of the earth, at the moment at least. Hopefully it stays that way. And her country is, even though I love it, it is objectively pretty far from how great the United States is. The people are great, the culture is great, but the country itself and the economy is not so great. I love the country, but life there is certainly not going to be as good in most ways as life would be here. But still, you gotta make things work. Who cares if you're gonna live in a slightly less good country? You're gonna be together. That's what matters. And don't be afraid of things changing, plans changing. Just make things work out whenever things do change. So like one time she was supposed to come here for vacation for us to be together. Visa was denied, so what I do? Make the best out of it, plan a different trip, go to somewhere where she can go. Sorry, I'm just tired and it's not the most direct relationship video like my other ones. So please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, check out my other videos because they are better than this one in my opinion. You can hire me for training advice, diet advice, supplement advice. You cannot hire me for medical advice, but you can hire me to consolidate medical information, put it all in one place along with my opinion. My book on tendinitis is coming out very soon. I was working on that today. I think that's, check out my Instagram, natural_true_fitness. If you have any more questions, please leave comments. Because I'm sure there's something I overlooked, because if you are just starting in a long distance relationship or you're not even in one yourself, I know there's got to be so many questions, and for me it's just I'm so used to it. It's like, people I know, they're always asking me stuff about it, and it's like I'm surprised of the questions they ask. Oh, this is a very long video. Hopefully I can even upload.